Conditionals let us make decisions in our code about what to do next. An autonomous car might use conditionals to control its speed behind another car. If the other car is too close, it would apply the brake. And if the other car is speeding up, it could speed up to follow. If you built a website with a login page, you might use conditionals to check and see if the password that the user entered is correct. If it is, the site moves to another page. If it isn't, you can prompt the user to try again. To determine whether a condition is met in our code and decide which step to take next, we can use Boolean expressions. We said before that the Boolean data types can hold the value true or false. These are keywords in Python and have to be capitalized so that the interpreter knows that it's looking at a Boolean data type. Boolean expressions always evaluate to the values true or false. Let's look at an example. This expression uses the equality operator to ask, is 10 equal to 18? 10 and 18 are not equal to each other, so Python evaluates this Boolean expression as false. There are 4 different types of Boolean expressions in Python. That is, there are 4 different ways that we can ask the question, is this true or false? We've already talked about the membership operator before. It returns true if the sequence on the left is found in the sequence on the right. And we won't be using the identity operators in this course. So let's focus on the main 2, comparison and logical operators. Comparison operators compare the right and left side to decide if the relationship between them is true. You might have seen some of the comparison operators in math class. First, we have the equality operator that we've already looked at. Then the greater than sign, which you might recognize. That asks, is 10 greater than 18? The less than sign is asking, is 10 less than 18? And the inequality sign is asking, is 10 not equal to 18? You can create the inequality operator by adding an exclamation point before the equal sign. We also have greater than or equal, or less than or equal, which asks, is 10 greater than or less than or equal to 18? Notice that the equality operator is 2 equal signs. One equal sign is the assignment operator that we've already been using, and it can be difficult to spot when you accidentally use one rather than the other. So remember that if you're asking a question, are these 2 values equal? We use 2 equal signs. If you're making a statement, this variable is equal to this value, we just use 1. Great. So now we can use comparison operators to create basic Boolean expressions that evaluate to true or false. Logical operators let us combine simple Boolean expressions into larger ones. If you made a weather app, you would want to tell the user that the weather is great for a hike if the temperature is greater than 70 degrees Fahrenheit outside and it's not raining. To combine those 2 Boolean expressions, we can use the logical operator and. And returns true if both values are true. Or returns true if at least one of the values is true. And not evaluates to the opposite of the value. So if the value is true, the expression will evaluate as false. Let's look at how to use logical operators to combine the expressions for our weather app. We use the comparison operator, greater than or equal to ask if the temperature is at least 70 degrees. Then we use the logical operator not to ask if it is not raining. We use the logical operator and to ask if both of these expressions are true at the same time. And because here the temperature is 80 and it is not raining, this full expression evaluates to true. Get some practice putting together and evaluating Boolean expressions. In the next video, we'll talk about how to use these expressions to make decisions in Python.